40 to 60,000 years ago in the region that today we refer to as Manasarovar and Kailash. We have solid physical proof, iconographic proof. Here is a 18,000 BC, which is 20,000 years ago. They made calendars, which is purely the yogic form of calendar you will see in India, which is what the Hindu calendar follows even today. The central set of spirals and the lower set together represents the solar cycle calendar, which is 364 days, which is the year that we follow even today. Just by observation of the outside, one cannot arrive at a calendar like this, this is a very sophisticated manifestation of the calendar. Even if a blind person puts his hands around, he will know which day of the year it is, which day of the month it is, and which phase of the moon it is. Why this has to be connected to Saptarishis? Today, without a proof, if you say something, it'll become meaningless in the world. From there, it spread to places. In different spaces they went, particularly in Central Asia, Turkey, Romania, as far as Northern Africa, Arabia. So that is how much prevalent it is even today. This is very important to understand that it is in the last 12 to 15,000 years that the longing to know got organized and found an organized expression through various systems of yoga. It's fantastic to see that this goes back right up to the time of the Adiyogi. If we want to look for physical proof, still there's a little bit of physical proof left around the world suggesting these things. I'm not some kind of an archaeologist or an expert in these matters, but you will see some of the things that we will look at today will intrigue anyone and set us thinking. We cannot call this 100% proof, but it suggests a few things. What is this all about? Why this has to be connected to Saptarishis? Because it's a particular way of looking at life. When I say particular way of looking at life, it is not about someone's opinion, but it is about an internal reflection of the cosmos, an internal understanding of the nature of creation, and a very internalized understanding of human being and the making of a human being and every other creature on this planet. When I say internal, I am talking about in contrast with modern science, which observes everything from outside and gone quite deep into its observation today as to how the physical creation has happened. It is in no way in contradiction with the inner way of looking, it is just that it starts at a different end. It's like if you start looking at a tree from the top, your understanding of the tree will be one way. If you start looking at a tree from its roots, your understanding of the tree will be completely different. Only when a meeting point happens somewhere, they look similar. Today we are coming to a place in the history of modern science and in the development of modern science where mysticism and modern science are beginning to look similar. So, this exploration today will be important in that sense, and as I said, this is not an archaeology lesson for you, but it's just to show you that there have been many suggestions to show that the origin of this is Adiyogi, and from him how it could have reached various places. Within myself, I know it did, but you don't have to go by my experience of life, because somebody else's experience can never be yours. But here is a little bit of physical proof going around. This whole process of Adiyogi and transmission of this way of knowing started in the region that today we refer to as Manasarovar and Kailash. And from there it spread to places. In different spaces they went. There are many references to the seven sages, particularly in Central Asia, Turkey, Romania, as far as Northern Africa, Arabia. There are continuous references to seven sages in the tradition. Even today it is, and you will see in Arabia, in places like Lebanon, Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia, Sudan, in all these places, even today, popular restaurants are named as seven sages So that is how much prevalent it is even today. When you ask these people who the seven sages are, nobody knows who the seven sages are in the common knowledge of the people. But from generation to generation for thousands of years, the idea of seven sages coming from the east, seven wise men coming from the east is still very much prevalent in most of the cultures out there. For example, you will see the images of snake worship going back right up to 18,000 BC in places like Siberia and Central Asia. These are very rudimentary images, you must understand, because they are so rudimentary, not because the people who made these things were rudimentary in their mind, but because the tools available to do this was rudimentary. Nobody can ever dig up the whole planet to find out if there are more sophisticated expressions of this. It is just that when you spread a message, just everybody may start doing things. The image that is being shown to you right now is 18,000 BC, that means about 20,000 years ago. The approximate date that we established for Adiyogi's presence in this region is somewhere between 40 to 60,000 years ago. You might have heard that many times I've been saying it is 15,000 years ago, because for 15,000 years we have solid physical proof, iconographic proof, which is over 12,000 years old. Because of that, we have been saying 15,000, but when I have spoken long time ago, 10, 12 years ago, I've always spoken in terms of 40 to 60,000 years ago, because in the yogic culture, that is how it is seen. But today, without a proof, if you say something, it'll become meaningless in the world. Because of that, we have brought down the date to 12 to 15,000 years. Here is 18,000 BC, which is 20,000 years ago. They made calendars, which is purely the yogic form of calendar. You will see in India any number of pictures like this. Here is this third image, or the first image which is made into a diagram in the third phase, is three sets of spirals. The central set of spirals and the lower set together represents the solar cycle calendar, which is 364 days, which is the year that we follow even today. And the upper set refers to 354 days, which is the lunar cycle of the calendar, which is what the Hindu calendar follows even today. And a combination of these two, which is today being referred to as lunisolar calendar, this is 20,000 years old. And somebody cannot arrive at this without an inner perspective. Just by observation of the outside, one cannot arrive at a calendar like this, this is a very sophisticated manifestation of the calendar. If this is written in Braille, even if a blind person puts his hands around, he will know which day of the year it is, which day of the month it is, and which phase of the moon it is. All these things can be found out just by touching the rock or looking at it.